Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Trellis and Trails Homestead. I'm Jacqueline. So I know that this is a late video. We are going to be talking about my pantry challenge successes and fails. Most people's pantry challenge lasts from January to March. If you guys saw my pantry challenge prep video, you'll know that I got a little bit of a late start with starting the pantry challenge. I think I started the second, going into the third week of January. So a little bit later than most people. Instead of starting right at the new year, January 1st or so, we started a few weeks later. And so I plan to stretch it for 2 months into like mid-March. So that's why we're filming a pantry challenge video at the end of March. It's March 26th today. And I actually finished the challenge a couple of weeks ago. Maybe even sooner than that because it didn't go as well as previous years. So stay tuned, we're going to talk about that. If you're new here, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. First, before we talk about the pantry challenge, I'm going to make myself some food. You guys are going to laugh. Going along with the whole pantry challenge theme. This looks like a really random leftover piece of who knows what, right? It is. I made some sourdough hamburger buns a few weeks ago, and they were in the freezer. My husband took one out the other day for a burger that he was eating, and they were quite thick, dense buns. I'm going to have to do some different things with the recipe. They were delicious, but they were definitely very thick and very dense. Just a lot of excess bread, it felt like. So he ended up cutting the middle of his bread out just to make his bun smaller. And this is what's left over. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to make some avocado toast. I'm going to have some avocado and egg and just eat this up. I'm getting a late start to the day. It's actually like afternoon. It's like 12:30 right now. So also kind of a random thing to eat at this time of the day. I'd rather have lunch food, but I don't want to make anything else. So we're going to make this. Let's do that first. toast was actually so good for it to be a random scrap piece of bread. It was homemade sourdough bread, so I think it's always better than store-bought bread anyway. So it was actually really delicious. I went ahead and washed up the dishes, and I had myself a cappuccino. I do drink coffee, but I don't drink it a ton. And by a ton, I mean like actually pretty rarely. I really do like these cappuccino mixes. I mean, I think there's a bit of coffee in them, obviously. And probably a lot of other not super great ingredients, but I do like to drink this for like regular day-to-day hot drinks. I just put a scoop in my cup and then add that was some homemade coffee creamer that I used, with just almond milk, vanilla extract, and condensed milk all mixed together, shaken up. So I've been using the homemade creamer here for about a month now probably, and again, that also is just so much better than store-bought creamer. I don't mind store-bought creamer, and I'll definitely use store-bought things, don't get me wrong. I do all the time. But I just figured it would be super easy to make my own, and it was, and it's actually got a really, really good taste. So that's what I have. I'm going to just kind of sip on that while we talk about the Pantry Challenge stuff. All right, so if you guys didn't watch my video back in, I think it was in January that I posted it, of my Pantry Challenge prep, go back and watch that because that'll add a lot of context to this video. If you did watch it, then you already know all the details about how I was planning to prepare my Pantry Challenge and some ideas that I had for this year's challenge. This is my third year doing a Pantry Challenge. I've done it the previous 2 years, and it was very successful the first 2 years. This year was not. So I'm calling it a Pantry Challenge fail because I really do think that it was a fail. So most of my meals and the things that we eat usually on a regular basis are Pantry Challenge type things anyways. I cook from home a lot. We eat from our freezers. We eat from our pantry. But for some reason in January and February of this year, when the intention was to do just that, we really didn't. I have some notes here that I had jotted down when I was kind of thinking about if we did well during the Pantry Challenge or if we didn't. And I can't remember, I think this was the this had to have been probably the first week in March. I think I basically said it was over like the beginning of March. So we did January, the middle of January, second week or so to beginning of March, we'll say. During that time, I added up our expenses, food expenses. We did go to the grocery store several times. The intention of the Pantry Challenge, one of the rules that I had set for it was to not go to the grocery store for lots of things. Some people's Pantry Challenge, they don't go to the grocery store for anything during those 2 months. I said that we would go for like dairy products and some fresh produce and things like that. I didn't want to limit myself completely to those things, especially as we've been trying to increase our protein intake this year. I felt like dairy was kind of an important purchase for like yogurts and things like that, but we didn't buy just dairy. So we had multiple grocery store runs and also went to Costco one time during this 2-month challenge. Our grocery store costs during that time were over $1,000. So we're going to say $1,000 for about 2 months, less than 2 months for regular groceries. So that tells you right there that I did not hold back when it came to buying things from the store. There's only 2 of us here, so $1,000 is basically $500 a month for regular groceries. By regular, I mean fresh produce, maybe a meat option here or there, some dairy stuff. I probably did include like toiletries and stuff in that if I bought those things during that time. This doesn't include pet food because I don't buy Sherry's food from the store. I usually get that from Chewy. So literally this was just for the 2 of us. $1,000 regular groceries, $416 at Costco. That was in one trip. I do a couple of like bulk grocery runs throughout the year, probably 3 or 4 big ones where we're stocking up on meat specifically. So as you know from the previous video, from the Pantry Challenge video, we did not do any sort of stock up before this challenge. I didn't go to the regular grocery store and like stock up on anything. I didn't go to Costco and stock up on anything. And the previous 2 years challenges, I kind of stocked up ahead of time, especially on meat, so that wasn't something I was going to have to purchase during the pantry challenge. This year I didn't do that. I really thought we could just kind of make do and get by with what we had, but we really didn't have a lot going into this challenge, and we didn't really have a lot of meat even. I don't think I had been to Costco for like a big meat run prior to that for many months. So it was definitely time. And if I was going to set myself up better for this challenge, then I would have gone to Costco before in like December and done like a big stock up. So we would have had everything I needed. And then it would have made this pantry challenge look like we were more successful than we actually were. But that's not what we did. So I went to Costco, and I like to buy some bulk meat stuff from Costco. We like to buy steaks, which that's a whole nother thing I'll get to in a second. But we did stock up on some like beef products, maybe a couple packs of like ground bison. I think at this time, I'm pretty sure this run, I did buy a pack of chicken. You guys, I haven't given a lot of details about my chicken situation, but I really have a love-hate relationship with chicken. Not even love. It's mostly a hate relationship for chicken. I used to eat chicken like my entire life growing up and stuff. That was my favorite meat. I didn't really like beef when I was younger. And then prior to this last year, I would say from like 2020 to 2022 at least, we really stopped eating chicken altogether. I can't think of like 1 or 2 times that we ate chicken for a 2-year period. Last year, I decided I would try to buy chicken again, and maybe we could find some recipes that we liked with chicken or find some ways to cook it. I'm going to be honest, I'm from the South. The only way I like to eat chicken is fried chicken, but I don't cook fried chicken. So baked chicken, grilled chicken, anything like that, I'm really not a fan. The flavor is just completely different. So we started buying chicken early last year probably. And then there's been lots of things that have happened with chicken production and the sale of chicken and other things here in the United States. Some research and studies being done, actually FDA approvals being done on lab-grown chicken and things like that. And not to say that's not happening with other products and other meats, and not to say that I don't buy products that have chemicals and other types of processing. Absolutely I do. But when it comes to chicken, the thought of it just completely grosses me out. So I bought a pack of chicken from Costco this past Costco run, and we truly are not eating it. I think we've eaten one of the like 6 packages that it comes in, and it wasn't good. So I think we're just not going to buy chicken anymore. I will try to source some like farm-raised local chicken, I think. But I really just have no desire to eat chicken right now, so I don't think I'm even going to do that anytime soon. So another reason I didn't stock up before the challenge is because, on meat specifically, I think at the time that I filmed our pantry prep video, I either knew or knew shortly after that video that we were going to be buying a quarter of a bison. We were going in with a few friends, few coworkers, to buy a whole bison, and we separated it into fourths, basically. And I knew that was going to happen, and that was going to be an expense. And also, we were going to end up with tons of meat that we would probably rather eat more than other types of meat. This is like farm, pasture raised, no antibiotics, no hormones, all those things, local bison. So I knew if I was going to invest in some meat, good meat, then I wanted to invest in that because I knew it was going to be really, really high quality, better than anything I could get at any store around here, right? So that was another reason for not stocking up ahead of time. So when I went to Costco, I did get a few beef options, but not a ton. And the $416, that wasn't just meat. That was other things from Costco too. There's certain things we really like to buy in bulk there. When we go down into my canning pantry, into my basement, I keep some dry stock goods and things like that down there too. and several things that I get from Costco I'll keep down there. So I'll show you some of the other bulk things that we like to get from Costco that added up to that $416 expense. Some other notes that I have here, moving on from meat, we did eat several jars out of our canning pantry. My goal was to do that because I wanted to eat some of the home preserved goods that we had before garden season this year, before harvest season, before I preserve more things, do some pickled veggies, sauces, and other things like that. So we did actually go through a few of those. I tried not to move them all up after we grabbed them so that I could go back and see how many we actually did eat because I didn't keep track of it. But I think I have a decent idea probably of what we ate from cans specifically, canned food, and home canned food more specifically. So in the $1,000 grocery purchase, like the regular groceries, that did include a lot of flour purchases and ingredients for sourdough. During January and February, and even into now, I bake a lot of sourdough for friends and other people. I've kind of been running like a little sourdough micro bakery from home. So that has required a lot of bread flour. I've been using whole wheat flour, some more specific flours for certain recipes I've purchased, and then just ingredients like rosemary. I'm not growing rosemary right now. Sorry if you hear the cat down here. The sun has gone away, so she doesn't have any sun coming in the windows. So she's probably going to be sad the rest of the day. So she's letting me know. So the rosemary I'm not growing, obviously it's March here in Colorado. I don't have any rosemary growing in any garden right now. So I was having to purchase fresh rosemary, fresh garlic. I do actually still have, let me show you. I know. So I do still have some homegrown garlic that I really need to use up. I did try to cure it the way that you're supposed to, dry it, do all the things after I harvested it. You can see some of them are like smaller bulbs. I'm hoping to grow bigger bulbs in my raised garden this year. I had some yarrow thrown in too because I just kind of did like a bit of a garlic braid, and that has kept it kind of together and nice and cute. But now it's all falling out because it's pretty dry. So for several reasons, I didn't want to use this garlic for homemade bread. I think that it's all still fine. I haven't actually cut into one in a while. I do think it still is like okay and still good to eat, but I also didn't want to go through it for my breads, and it has a bit of a stronger flavor than store-bought garlic does. I'm not sure if that's just because it's like fresh or grown differently or what that might be, or if that has anything to do with it curing and drying properly. I'm not really sure. So I just wanted to use this for home cooking and home recipes and not put this in my breads that I was giving to other people. I want to start using these up. We're going to talk about plans for Pantry Challenge going forward because I'm going to try to continue with it. So I want to use these up in the next 2 months at least. It won't take me long to use these for home cooked recipes for dinners and things. So my plan is to go ahead and use this up so that in the summer when we get another garlic harvest, we'll go ahead and dry that, cure that, and be able to use that garlic. So in addition to the rosemary and garlic for my rosemary garlic loaves, I was buying large jars of jalapenos. My regular grocery store sells these large jars. They're 32-ounce jars of sliced jalapenos, like regular pickled jalapenos. And this is the jalapeno that I use for my jalapeno cheddar loaves or any jalapeno loaf that I'm making. So we went through several jars of these in the last couple of months. I probably bought at least 4 or 5. This might be like the 5th one. Because I was making lots of cheddar jalapeno sourdough loaves, lots of cheddar jalapeno bagels and things like that. Cheddar, so I was buying lots of cheddar. I like to buy the large blocks of cheddar cheese and just grate it myself. That works a lot better for the sourdough loaves because that cheese actually will melt. If you buy regular shredded cheese in a bag, there's like a waxy coating on those that cheese will not melt as well. It takes actually a really long time for it to melt because of that waxy coating. So if I grate it myself, it doesn't have that waxy layer on it and it melts a lot more. So it's just kind of spread out through the bread a lot more than the shredded bag cheese. If I put that in my bread, it kind of like tends to sit in one place and it just doesn't melt. You don't get as good of a flavor. So I like to just grate it ourselves. I bought a few specialty cheeses during that time for some loaves. I also like to make a jalapeno cheddar red pepper Gruyere loaf. And it's a block, I think it's like an 8-ounce block of red pepper Gruyere cheese that I use. And those cost like $8 a block just because they're like specialty cheeses. So I did buy a few things like that as well during this time. So overall, expense-wise, a big Costco run, some bulk meat purchases. I'm not including the bison purchase in any of this video because we just got that after the pantry challenge was over. And I want to do like a big bison haul. I'm going to include that in a separate video. So if that's something that you want to see, make sure to tune in for that one. When I was going in to buy this bison, I was trying to find some videos on kind of like the cuts that you would get, what this looks like, how much meat you actually get. Also, we were purchasing a deep freezer, so I wanted to find out how, like, what size deep freezer I really needed based on like how the cuts come and things like that. And I really could not find a lot of videos on what a quarter of a bison looks like when you purchase it. I know it's different from every, farm or processing center. It also came in boxes, so storage-wise, how I was going to store that versus do I take it out of the box to put it in the freezer. More details to come. Long story short, this purchase came after the pantry challenge, so I haven't included the bison in any of this, and it's not included in the expenses either. That was a whole separate expense, and I can go over all of that in the next video. So a Costco run, some bulk meat from Costco, lots of flour and ingredients for sourdough loaves that I was making, and we did eat quite a few jars out of our pantry. We did eat some things out of our freezer too. I didn't really keep track of like what we were eating from there, but I can tell you, I didn't write this down, but I know that we went to dinner and or social outings with friends where we ordered food probably 6 or 8 times during this 2-month period, which is a lot for us. We had a lot of social activities going on during January. And anytime our friends were down to go get food, we were like, yeah, sure, absolutely. So we did that many, many times, which of course allowed us to not be eating out of the pantry for dinners because we were going out for dinners. That's not something that we usually do. And since mid-February or so, we haven't actually gone out to eat often. I don't love going out to eat, but I do like going to certain places and socializing with friends. So the biggest reason why I consider this pantry challenge a little bit of a fail is because I did not meal plan. I went into the previous 2 years having some sort of a plan together, maybe not a meal for like a dinner for every single night of the week, but a general idea of what we had and how I was gonna make meals with the things that we had. This year, I did no planning for that. I just assumed I would just throw things together and it would be fine. Last year, I did a lot of throwing things together and made a lot of creative meals. And this year, we really did none of that. I was very uninspired this year to make dinners and to try to be creative with that for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I previously, the last 2 years, was making lots of soups and stews and things and crock pot dishes. I really didn't even do that too much this year. I think it was easier to throw together some sourdough pizzas and other things that were a lot simpler. So we didn't even really make a whole lot of soups for like a cozy winter season or anything like that. So my biggest sort of failure for this year was not making meal plans and not planning things ahead of time. It also would have been a lot easier, and I think it would have cut down on grocery expenses had I had some plans for some meals throughout the week before going to the grocery store. Because like I said, we didn't hold back when we went to the grocery store. We would just buy whatever and figure out food options with that. But there was no meal planning going on. I truly think that meal planning saves you so much money in grocery costs and helps you not waste and throw away food and other ingredients that go bad because you're knowing what you have, you're paying attention to what you have, and you're using those things up a lot quicker than if you just sporadically eat things here and there and don't really plan it out. So going forward, I'm not going to say like a written plan in place, but kind of a plan in my head to continue a bit of a pantry challenge for probably the next couple of months until we get to summer. Again, my goal is to continue to eat what we have out of our canning pantry, home canned goods, so that I can get rid of those things and we can make more with our summer harvest of our garden produce this year, especially our salsas and our pizza sauce. I have some big plans to grow lots of peppers, lots of tomatoes, and other things for those to make more of that. And we definitely have our favorite things that I like to can up. So I know that we eat those things, we'll continue to eat those things, and I'll make more of those things, but I just want to eat the ones that we already have before making more first. So that's the scoop on the pantry challenge this year, 2024 pantry challenge. I don't think it was successful. We can say that there were successes, like eating some of the canned goods and maybe a couple of the freezer items, and I did make a couple of like pies and things with just stuff we already had, but it truly wasn't very intentional this year, and because I didn't stock up ahead of time, I just felt a little unprepared for it, more so than previous years. Failure is such a harsh word sometimes, but I'm fine with the fact that I think that this pantry challenge was a big fail this year. But like I said, I'm going to continue probably through May. We do have a couple of trips and other things planned during this 2-month time frame, but not necessarily like making sure I eat, every single thing on my list, but just being more intentional with the things that we are eating, with the meals that we're putting together, and trying to have like more balanced, healthy meals too, because like I said, it's so easy to throw a sourdough pizza together, and pizza is great and I could eat pizza every day, but is that the healthiest thing to eat every day? No, probably not. So we need to incorporate other things into our meals as well. So I'm going to continue on with this challenge, and I can give you guys another like sort of 2-month later update if that's something that you want to see. Let me know in the comments below. I was going to show you guys, there's really no reason. So I was going to show you guys my like pantry and refrigerator. There's really no reason to do that because we've obviously stocked up on some of those things since this 2-month period. We have new stuff in there. So you can't really see, because I've already gone to the store, you can't actually see what we did eat and, if it's gotten lower in inventory or not, because we've already filled it so many times since then. But I will take you downstairs into my canning pantry because you'll really be able to see. I haven't added anything to it in the last 2 months necessarily. Maybe some Costco things, but not like home canned goods. Not a lot, at least. I did make some broth and some soup, but not a lot of home canned goods. So we'll be able to get a good idea of what we did eat from our home canned goods. So let's go down to the basement and I'll show you those things. All right, I'm going to take you guys into my canning basement where I have most of my home canned goods and some other like bulk stock stuff. Some of the Costco things, like I said. So let me just show you briefly kind of what we have here. I'm just going to show you kind of all the things basically that we've eaten, because you can see I left some gaps here and there. So these are curried tomato preserves. They're kind of sweet. They're actually pretty good on avocado toast, some chicken dishes, and some other things. So we had a can upstairs, and we had another can that we've eaten from down here. So that was 2 of those. I think that I actually did pull out a Dijon, but I pulled them up or had one kind of in the cabinet or wherever it was. I have gone through a couple of these mango habanero hot sauces. I think I pulled those up as well. We've gone through a couple of these chipotle tomatillo salsas. This is one of our absolute favorites. Several jars of pizza sauce. So 2 from right here, maybe 3. I think I had 1 or 2 upstairs in the cabinet. So we've gone through some of those. The one thing I wanted to try that I still haven't is this sloppy Joe sauce that I made. This was like my second video, I think. First or second video was canning up this Sloppy Joe sauce, and I have still yet to try it. I think the reason that I've yet to try it is because I want to obviously have it like regular Sloppy Joe with meat and a bun. And I haven't made any batch sourdough hamburger buns to put in the freezer. I made that one set that I just showed you from the toast that I was eating earlier. But I want to find a different recipe. That one wasn't my favorite. So once I find a good recipe, I'll make several of them and just stick them in the freezer to kind of stock up on them. So I just haven't used that yet because we haven't really had hamburger buns. I might do the Sloppy Joe sauce with some of the ground bison that we have and try it with that. I think that would be really good. I don't actually think there was anything in this row, but I have used, I think, 1 jar of dilly beans. I have some of the pickled Brussels sprouts upstairs. We've gone through a couple jars of black beans and some garbanzo chickpeas, but I had many of those upstairs in the cabinet, so, or we've actually even bought a few. I think we bought some chickpeas from Trader Joe's that we've used. I have used a couple cans of veggie broth. I think I used one of the small, and then I think that I used one of the big. I did because it's gone. And then we have some like store-bought stuff, some of my Costco things, some vinegars. I haven't really used a lot of vinegar since I haven't been pickling a lot of things lately. I like this hot sauce from Costco. And these come in a 2-pack, so I don't think I've actually used one of these jars up, maybe just the one that I had in the fridge. We did use one of these jars up, and then some lemon juice I keep in the fridge all the time. I haven't used any of this stuff. We have some extra seasoning upstairs, tuna, barbecue sauce. We did have a bunch of pasta sauces. We have used those. There's one more pasta sauce back there. And then black bean and veggie soup that we canned up in one of the videos. We did eat a jar, maybe 2 jars of that. I think we actually did have 2 jars. And that's been really good. So that's easy for like work meals, quick things to just throw together, throw in a pot, warm up. And that's been really nice to have. I do have some diced tomatoes from Costco back there. I think I've used a can or 2 of those. We've got some green beans that I've definitely used a couple cans of. I had a pumpkin can, like a pumpkin filling that I used for pumpkin pie. And then I had another can of peaches that I had canned up, and I did use that for a peach pie. So I did make a couple of pies during this time. We have some banana peppers there that I haven't used. Oh, I know what was here actually. I had a bunch of, I don't think I have any more of them now. I had a bunch of cans of green tomato pickles. Let's see if there's any back here. Yeah, here's some. So I had several. This actually whole row was full of them. These green tomato hot peppers. It's a pickle mixture. It has some hot peppers, some green tomatoes, some garlic, and seasoning spices in it. I love these, so I did go through probably 4 or 5 cans of these during this time. And I think maybe we have just that 1 jar left. This is some extra peach, like honey syrup stuff that's in there. I just didn't have any peaches to go with it. My plan for that jar was to, if I can up more peaches, then I'll just use that syrup mixture since it's already made, and not have to make more. If I'm just going to can up like a can or so of peaches, that'll probably be enough for a can, maybe even 2 cans. So we have our paper products and stuff down here. I probably need to stock up on some more paper towels and maybe go ahead and get another pack of toilet paper. I have some potatoes I've been buying. We have been going through potatoes pretty well, but these have sprouted, and I kind of wanted them to do that because we're going to plant them. So these are some russet potatoes that have definitely sprouted. They're not good to eat, but we will probably plant those in the garden. I have some seed potatoes that I'm going to plant too, but we've had success growing from sprouted potatoes, so I think I'll do that. And then we definitely need to stock up on more Annie's mac and cheese. I think it comes in a 6-pack from Costco. We only have 1 left. I think we might have 1 upstairs actually. So 2 boxes left. I have a bunch of Scrub Daddies back there that we got on sale from Lowe's. So stocked up on those, of course. Coconut milk, I use these for several different things. If I don't have half and half or heavy cream or other things, you can do a lot with coconut milk. I've put it in my pies too. I've used it in pies as well. Coconut water for smoothies and other things. We have a couple of boxes of pasta, and I have some chickpea pasta and rice ramen and stuff in the back. That Banza chickpea pasta is actually not my favorite, but we'll eat it up. And then I have these 3-bean vegan chilies that we really like to have from Costco too. I couldn't find it for a long time, so I'm pretty sure I ended up buying 2 boxes of these because this one is still sealed, and I know that I have some upstairs. So they come with 6 pouches, and these are so easy to just throw together with, you know, tacos or any dish that you might want like a 3-bean chili for, or just eat it as a side. Really, really good. So that's pretty much it for my canning pantry, my basement. I think we still have a pretty good stock of stuff that needs to get used up. Oh, I forgot to show you in these bins down here. There's some other flour, sugar, some dry beans, some dry rice, things like that. And then in this first one, we just have some dehydrated camping meals from Mountain House. They're not homemade, they're just from Mountain House that we like to keep a stock of. So that's pretty much it for down here. I'll continue to try to eat through some of these canned goods before I grow more of this produce and make some more things. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me as we talked about my successes and failures of this year's pantry challenge. Stay tuned. Let me know in the comments if you want to see another like 2-month update, see where we're at then, and how we are feeling at that time. That'll probably be the last sort of pantry challenge that I'll do for this year. Like I said, we do try to eat from home most of the time, so I feel like we're sort of always doing a bit of a pantry challenge, but we definitely go to the store when we need to as well. I really would like to clean out my pantry, my cabinet upstairs, and my refrigerator, and go through all of that, just get some things organized and cleaned up, refrigerator, freezer, and just wipe down everything. I was going to do that in this video. I don't think I am because I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm probably going to do that in the next day or two, so I'll bring you guys along if you want to see sort of a like clean my kitchen with me video. Let me know as well, and I can film that for you guys as we just kind of go through, clean everything up, give the refrigerator and pantry cabinet a spring refresh. So let me know if that's something that you would like to see, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.